Hi, I'm Sam Holman. I'm the Head of Transformation and Corporate Ops at the Walton Centre. The Walton Centre is a standalone neuroscience centre, and we serve a catchment area of 3.5 million patients within the Liverpool area. Beforehand, we had around about 96,000 green case notes. So we had a full library full of case notes. We had our medical records department where we'd actually prep the case notes. And there was like huge timbre units behind them that was completely full of patients. So from a storage point of view, there was issues. We also had a CQC inspection in 2019, which highlighted that a mix of paper records and digital records was a clinical risk to patients. So yeah, we set on a plan to digitise all of those case notes.
Prior to our scanning of documents, we had a hybrid model in Walton. We had paper notes and we had notes available online. When we met patients, it wasn't too bad because we used to have the paper notes and access to the online notes. But when working in the office or working from home was difficult because we often had only one or the other. And that meant that there was information missing, and that's a clinical risk. Also, when performing stuff like clinical audits, they're very difficult for staff who are auditing work to get everything in one place. So they'd have to be online and they'd have to get the physical copies. So there was a difficulty there and the limitation in what they could do.
My nervousness around the implementation of this project was being able to track those records from the point that we hand them over to Apogee. How do I know exactly where they are at every single point of the journey? How do I know when they've been scanned, every single page is accounted for? And how do I know that every single one of those pages went into the digital EPR? And I think that the Apogee team sensed that nervousness from me as soon as we started to kind of implement this process. So what they could show me, and certainly this came through in the proof of concept as well, was that each and every single case note that was scanned into the box by my medical records team was barcoded, it was scanned, and that was digital. A digital footprint came through. So once we'd gone through all of that process of being able to track all of the case notes through, we just came up with like a seamless process then, and that was like kind of our business as usual process in terms of scanning the case notes. The beginning of our partnership with Apogee, it was clear that their knowledge and expertise was there. We relied on them so much to be able to give us examples of where they'd done this in other organisations and really feed us with examples and support to be able to make our own decisions of what was going to be right for the Walton Centre. They were such a welcoming team. They were always on hand to help us with queries. No question was too daft. We just had a really good relationship and really good partnership. I think I've referred to them before in internal presentations as an extension of the transformation team, and that's exactly how they've felt. They've not felt like a supplier, they've felt like literally a part of our team, and the amount that they've been on site, they haven't just been kind of there in the background to do that transactional piece. They've really lived and breathed this whole process with us and really formed some really strong relationships with them.
So since digitising the case notes, we've got everything in one place, and they're easy to find. So when we meet patients, we can see what we wrote last time. We can see what's been written in very recent clinic reviews. It's very easy to see what we did last. So for example, in our Botox clinics, we've been able to review what was injected a few weeks before, and that's all integrated seamlessly into the digital record. So we're very happy with that. Getting rid of the paper case notes is a big step forward for us as clinicians.
So if we've got a consultant that wants to look for a Botox form, for example, or a nurse that wants to look for a fluid balance chart, they can just search in the name of that form, because we've been able to, with Apogee's support, train the system in what that template looks like, what case note section it needs to go in, and what the form's called. When those case notes that are or paper that's generated in our patient clinic, they come up to the internal scanning core team. We scan it through ourselves, so that's an internal process. And that comes through and that's fed straight into our EPR straight away. So any generation of paper that's kind of live, we can get that in that system within 7 days. The difference in our backlog of referrals has been absolutely astronomical. We did start out in August of this year, about 5,000 referrals in our backlog. To date, we've eliminated those, and we're actually registering those referrals as they come in. I don't think the Walton Centre has been in that position since maybe COVID. So that's been a massive achievement for us.
Being able to just see the case notes immediately without any delay means lets us get out quicker. We can do scan requests quicker, we can look at scanned reports quicker and get feedback back to the patients much quicker.
So from a patient experience point of view, it's really added a lot of value. we've decided internally that there was something that's been outstanding for a number of years in the organisation, which was a communal staff break room. There's no way for the staff to be able to go and enjoy some space to be able to de-stress after their shift. So in the medical records area, we are now going to repurpose into a communal staff room, put some recliners in there, some vending machines, some TVs. So we'll finally be able to have that estate back to be able to offer some wellbeing and support for our staff.